If you're trying to get some information about the final walkthrough and everything that goes into it, this is a video for you. This is Ron with Keller Williams Elite with the Ron and Joe Group. Before we get started, two things. Look down the video description below. I got a link to moving out here to Phoenix. Also, hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. We're going to be posting a lot of content here weekly. Now, let's get to the show. The final walkthrough, it is optional. However, 98% of all clients choose to follow through and go through with the final walkthrough. It is a very important step for buying a home. When it comes to the final walkthrough, most everybody gets it done. This is a very important step to make sure that you're getting the house in good condition or the condition that was agreed upon. This is usually done the day of or the day prior to you going to title and signing that big stack of paperwork. Now, a good agent is going to do a lot of work behind the scenes before this date even comes up. The buyer's agent is going to get in contact with the seller agent regarding all repairs, receipts, and supporting documentation for any repairs or fixes that needed to be done. Have an understanding of any scheduled contractors that need to go out there and do any work and get their contact information, the receipts, and all that good stuff before the closing date, and of course before the final walkthrough to ensure it's all been done. The buyer's agent will also be in contact with the seller's agent to schedule a time that's good for everybody so the buyer and the buyer's agent could do the final walkthrough. And one of the most important things is knowing where all the keys, the remotes, any type of controls, pamphlets, guides, or whatnot pertaining to that house, where is it going to be left at? One of the things to understand is when it comes to the final walkthrough, it is not a time to renegotiate any terms or anything else like that. If the seller has been going through the contract and they're holding up their end of the bargain by making any fixes, repairs, holding back any concessions, now's not the time to go ahead and do any renegotiations. When you come to the home inspection, do not come there empty-handed. There are a few things that you need to bring with you. The first one is the purchase contract, and have in front of you any agreements that needed to be fixed or addressed. This will be the time to make sure that everything was done according to the contract. Also, bring the home inspection reports. This will give you a time to double check or re-look at things that was brought up during the home inspection period. Bring a notebook, pen and paper, or just make sure that you have a good system on your phone to go ahead and take notes. One of the other things too is bring in a wall charger. And we're gonna get to that in a little bit, especially when you wanna make sure all the outlets are working throughout the whole entire house. When it comes to the home inspection and where to start at, usually with my clients, we'll go ahead and start on the outside of the house and pretty much do one entire lap around the whole entirety of the house to make sure everything's in order. During the final walkthrough of the home, there are some things that you need to focus on. Look at the basic functionality of the house. Make sure all the doors are still there, the windows are still there, any of the major things that were either bolted in or came with the house is still there on property. Even when it comes to the shrubbery, trees, or whatnot, make sure it is still there. Look at any unfinished repairs that still need to be done. If it is in the contract and it was agreed upon that the seller would fix it, make sure it was completed. The real estate agent will get copies from the seller's agent for any repairs that were done, or there was a contractor that came out to get the receipt and the contractor's name, number, and all that good stuff. If there were items meant to stay with the house, make sure they're still there. It was a refrigerator that was meant to stay there, make sure it's there. The stoves, microwaves, all stuff that was meant to stay with the house, ensure that it was still there. Another thing too is any junk that was left behind. When it comes to moving, I know that there is some stuff that, you know what, I just did not want to put in the moving vehicle because I just really didn't want it no more. However, the home seller should have got rid of all their junk or any trash or anything that they did not want to take with them to wherever it is they're going to. So make sure that everything's cleared out. When it comes to walking through the house, one of the things I tell my clients to do is we'll start off and do a full 360. As soon as we go ahead and get inside the house, we'll turn to the left and we'll just methodically go through the whole entire house and do one victory lap inside the house. Now, when you're doing this walkthrough, it is not the time to think, okay, where am I gonna put my couch, my love seat, where am I gonna set my TV at, whose room is gonna go to who or whatnot. There are things you need to start looking for. One of the first things to start looking for is there any new damage done to the house? You could have walked through initially when you first saw the home and then been out there a couple times, but the people's stuff was still in there. Now that everything is moved out, has there been any fresh damage done to the house? Especially when they're moving large pieces of furniture or other type of equipment out of the house, damages could have been done. One of the things to look for, especially if the seller moved everything out already, is there any signs of pests, any bugs, rodents, or whatnot? When you're looking outside, make sure that the plants, trees, or whatnot that was already there when you signed up to purchase the home is still there. Yes, there have been people that have moved entire trees out of the yard. Any sheds that were there, they still need to be there. A big one and something that will cause a red flag because it goes against the contract is ensuring all the utilities are on. When it comes to utilities, I ensure I tell the sellers to make sure the utilities are still on so the buyer could do the final walkthrough. Another thing to do is to turn on and off all the lights, ceiling fans, anything with a switch, turn it on and off and make sure that it works. Another big thing is turning on the HVAC system. The last thing you want to do is move into a house in the middle of summertime just to find out the AC doesn't work in your new home. Another good idea is to flush all the toilets in the house. Is there any leaks or cracks that, you know what, maybe the home inspector didn't catch, but now there is a new problem? Turn all the water faucets on and turn them off. And when it is off, make sure that there is no new leaks or something like that. You also want to run the water inside the sinks and look underneath the sinks to make sure that there is no new leaks or drips or whatnot. And while you're down there, look to see if there's any mold or anything else that could be suspicious or any leaks that were not reported on during the home inspection. This could be new damages that, you know what, even the previous homeowner knew nothing about. Open and close all the windows and all the doors. You want to open and close all the doors, making sure, of course, they're there, the knobs are there and all that good stuff. And most importantly, you want to make sure it's functional. When it comes to the home and the cleanliness of the home, you can't expect really like a deep clean or professionally cleaned or something like that. It's pretty much spelled out, okay, swept up. And make sure it's not excessively dirty or whatnot. If there are any problems that do arise, your real estate agent should be able to know how to handle them. One of the things the agent can do is ask for money to be held back from escrow, and they're going to go ahead and pay for whatever needs to be repaired, fixed, cleaned, or whatnot. And it's usually pretty much a communication between the agents and just ask them, hey, listen, this happened. Did your client know anything about it? Or, hey, by the way, one of your pipes is leaking. We need to get that fixed. 99% of the time, the home seller is going to go ahead and pay for it to be fixed. And these funds are going to be held outside of escrow, so you're going to be getting a little bit more money to take care of fixing or repairing whatever it is. Another thing your agent can do is ask for a delay in closing. When it comes to the delay in the closing, it's just so the home seller could get the right person to go out there, fix, repair, or do whatever it takes to make sure everything's taken care of. If none of that works, one of the things that can happen between the agents is they come up with a win-win situation for both the buyer and the seller. And they'll sign a contract to ensure that the repairs are going to be taken care of outside of the closing date. I've seen this happen quite a few times where it's like, hey, listen, the people can't come out there for another 2 or 3 more weeks because they're all busy or whatever the case is. Can we just go ahead and make sure the repairs are done after the closing date? 99% of the time, everybody's going to agree to it. Everybody's going to be happy. So the real estate agents play a key role to make sure everything goes smoothly and everything is taken care of for closing for both the buyer and the seller. All right, everybody. Hope you found value in this. Please hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. And also, if you look down to the video description below, I have a link to my Calendly and we'll set up a time to talk. We'll see you soon.